I was really attracted to the fact that she said, if you do this right, you only have to do it one time. Of course, at the time, I thought that was complete BS. Hi everyone, my name is Helen Yan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I decided to start my own channel because of how much I really enjoy watching videos on this platform. I think it's such a great way to share knowledge and to learn different things and to get into deeper conversations. So today for my first video, I want to do more of a chattier video so that I can introduce myself to you and that you can get to know me a little bit better and see what is there to expect from this channel. So I am a professional organizer. I'm one of the first certified KonMari consultants in the world. I started my organizing business back in January 2017, and I have been doing it full-time ever since. I am currently a master level KonMari consultant and I am based in Calgary, Alberta in Canada. So as a professional organizer, you might assume that I've always been a really organized person, but honestly that couldn't be further from the truth. As a kid, I was a collector. I was one of those kids that just wants to keep everything and collect everything. I, loved stickers and notebooks and Hello Kitty and stamps and coins. Honestly, everything could be a collection, and I really enjoy that process of collecting, but I never used the things that I was collecting. I always felt like I needed to save them for something, and so I built up quite a collection, and my room was always messy, but my parents kind of just left me alone. They didn't really like tell me to clean up my room or anything like that. It was just, it was fine. In high school, I started to develop my artistic side, my creative side, and I love to sew and do crafts and things like that. And so for university, I decided to go into fashion design. I went to Ryerson University, and it's a four-year program, and I had so much fun. But I feel like being in the fashion program, it makes you want to explore your personal style. At least it made me want to explore my personal style. So I remember I would always want to try different looks, and I would have like a different look for every day. And I love to go shopping, or as we call it, market research. So throughout university, I worked at a bank part-time to pay for school. And after I graduated from university, I started working for an apparel company in the fashion industry in Toronto. But I didn't quit my bank job because as somebody starting out in the fashion industry, your salary is very low. Also, one of my big goals at the time was to be able to buy my own place in my 20s in Toronto, which is not an easy goal, but I did accomplish that just a couple years after I started working. And my boyfriend, my husband now, my boyfriend at the time, he moved in with me and we bought a townhome in Toronto. So this townhouse was 4 floors. It's about 2,000 square feet if you include the basement. And even though we started off with not much, the place was like just a box, and we started accumulating things kind of both slowly and quickly, because when you live in an empty space, at that time for me anyway, I really just wanted to fill the space up. So whenever there was like a furniture sale or if somebody was getting rid of any furniture, I would take it. And so our place quickly just filled up, and those purchases I really didn't put a lot of thought into. I didn't think about, buying a $20 bar stool for a dinner party. I would still have that bar stool 20 years later. That's actually a real thing. I do still have bar stools that I bought for a dinner party thinking that it was temporary, and that would have been like 2006, and now it's 2020. I still have those $20 bar stools. I really didn't think about the longevity of these purchases. And we quickly filled up our space. And honestly, I was working 7 days a week for the first couple of years. I didn't have a lot of spare time, and whenever I did, I would do a lot of shopping. I remember at that time, at one point I counted I had over 100 pairs of shoes. I was really into high heels. I mean, who wasn't? As a Sex and the City fan, everybody was wearing sky high heels all day, every day. I really enjoyed makeup. I remember at one point my coworker asked me, well, how many bottles of foundation do you have? Like, because I would always talk about the different ones, and I went home and I counted, and I had over 40. So that's a lot of makeup for one face, especially I didn't really consider at that time that they do go bad. So probably not the smartest idea to have so many bottles going at once. So our place, yeah, it was kind of a disaster. It was like the entire second floor that had 2 bedrooms was not really needed. So we were just using it as storage. Our bedroom was on the 3rd floor in this townhouse, and it was the entire floor. It had like an ensuite, and it had 2 walk-in closet. So it was a lot more space than we needed. So fast forward to 2012, my husband was working full-time for a company that had a relocation opportunity, and we decided to have a change and move from Toronto to Calgary. And we came to Calgary to visit and bought a condo that's 1,000 square feet, and that's the place that I'm still in right now. And so knowing that this place is half the size of our place in Toronto, we went back to Toronto to get our home ready for sale, and we knew we had to get rid of a lot of stuff, since we did have a lot of stuff even though we weren't using everything. And I remember we invited our realtor to come and do the walkthrough, to do the tour, and talk about where to take the pictures and things. And he didn't even want to finish the tour. He just said, Helen, I can't sell your place. It's too cluttered. Like, you really have to do something about this. And then I'm like, but we did. I mean, you don't invite a realtor until you're ready, right? But it was such a slap in the face. It was so embarrassing to hear him say that, but it really made us buckle down, and we got rid of a lot of stuff. I would say we got rid of at least half of our stuff. I will insert some photo of our condo and moving day and how we set everything up. So when we set everything up, what's really funny is the photo that I'm using as my before KonMari photo. At the time, it was my after photo because it was my after moved photo. And I remember thinking I was so proud of the fact that we were able to fit everything we brought from Toronto into our condo in Calgary. Because at the time, the condo felt really small, and I wasn't sure if everything was going to fit. So when it did, I felt really accomplished. And I was so proud of the fact that we were able to just like squeeze everything in. Now looking at the photo, I know how cluttered it looks. At the time, I didn't think so. So we lived, we knew the place felt a little small, but we thought maybe one day when we have a kid, we will move to a larger home. So then in 2014, we had Emerson. He's currently 6 years old. He's our son. And we didn't expect how hard parenthood is. We didn't expect how stressed I would feel, and just how everything changes when you have a child. I mean, at the time we thought, well, we have 2 of us, 1 of him, how hard could it be? I know, just totally naive. But to give you an idea, I was the kind of person that no one has ever asked to babysit, so I never even held a baby before, let alone like know what it's really like to have a child. And as a stressed out new parent, what I did is basically I would buy anything that promises to solve any problem. I mean, of course you have your basics, like, we had our big stroller, we had an Upper Baby Vista that had all these attachments like bassinets and mosquito nets and rain shields, and I don't know, just like something for everything. We had a travel bag, but did we use any of it? Not really. We hardly ever used any of it because I was feeling really overwhelmed with becoming a new mom. I was also going through postpartum depression, and that first year of motherhood was probably the hardest year of my life. And my husband at the time, he was home with me for basically my whole maternity leave, because he was on his second stress leave from his work. Yeah. We were both having a lot of mental health challenges, and we didn't know how to deal with it. So that was a really, really tough year. I keep buying new things to hoping that it would solve problems. So as I mentioned, we have our basics like the stroller, we have the crib, and then of course we added the swing and a jumper and a playpen. And then you have all the different accessories like various blankets for different situations, car seats, you have a special clock that's supposed to teach your kid to wake up and fall asleep. We had that, like sleep sheets. I don't know, just like so much stuff. He had eczema, so then of course we had like 12 different creams and like soaps. Just everything we needed, I would buy multiples of, because if something wasn't working, you would just buy another one. And so our place quickly felt crammed, and we started adding more shelves, and the picture I'm going to insert has these white shelves in the back. So we started adding more shelves and for storage and things like that, but I don't think it helped, because it wasn't the storage, it was the stuff. It was around this time that I started hearing people talking about Marie Kondo's book, The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up, and I remember thinking, I don't need it. Like, my friends would tell me about it, and I would say, no, we just got rid of half of our stuff when we moved from Toronto to Calgary. I mean, how minimal can you get? So I didn't think our stuff was the issue. I thought we needed a bigger home. But I was not mentally prepared to move. I always find moving is such a big undertaking, but that's probably because I have only moved 4 times in my life, and one time from Taiwan to Toronto, then Toronto to Toronto, then like moving houses in Toronto, then Toronto to Calgary. Oh, I've only moved 3 times in my life, and I'm 39. So one day I remember feeling really bored. I felt like I had finished Netflix, because as a stressed out, overwhelmed, depressed person, I spent all my spare time watching Netflix. I really did. And one day I just felt like, you know what? I've seen everything I could possibly see on Netflix. There's nothing new for me to watch. Maybe I'll read a book. Crazy idea. So I downloaded this book, I remember, on my phone for $8.99, and I immediately regretted it, because I thought, Helen, you've just wasted $10. You're never gonna read this book. You're not a reader. And so I did the next best thing, and I gave my husband my phone, and I say, David, you read this book, you summarize it, and you let me know if it's any good or if there's any tips we can implement into our home. And so he starts reading this book, and he got really, really into it immediately. Like, I could tell he was hooked. And so I started reading it as well, because he wouldn't summarize the book for me. And I remember thinking immediately, there's something to this, because I definitely could relate to a lot of the situations that Marie talked about in the book. And most importantly, I was really attracted to the fact that she said, if you do this right, you only have to do it one time. Of course, at the time I thought that was complete BS and that it's impossible, but I thought if there's even the slightest chance that it's true, then I have to give this a shot, because yeah, it sounded really, really good. Too good to be true, in fact, right? Marie says, you only have to do this once. If you do it right, your life will be changed for the better. It will transform your life in every way. And she even said some people lost weight. I remember that stood out to me, because I really wanted to lose my baby weight at the time. So we decided to start a tidying festival right away. And we did the process probably in under 2 weeks, just working every opportunity, every chance we get in between taking care of the baby. And I have to say, it honestly completely transformed our home. Don't get me wrong, the process was really hard. I remember stopping in the middle of our tidying festival, trying to Google, how do I hire Marie Kondo to come and help me? Turns out you couldn't, and KonMari Consultants at the time just wasn't a thing yet. But we got through it, because I knew we had to finish it. That was the whole point, is that you can't just start a tiding festival, you have to finish it. And so we did the process in about 2 weeks, like I said, and it completely transformed our home. So I'll insert some after photos of what our home looked like after the process. And I don't have a before photo for my bedroom, but it definitely didn't look anything like the after photo. But what it did was transform my bedroom that used to be this like stressful space into my favorite place in the world. I remember before we tidied up our home, I always felt really stressed out at home, and I always felt like I had to leave our home for relaxation. Like I would have to go to the spa, or we would have to go on vacation. And like that first year of parenthood, we actually did travel a lot. I think in the first 2 years, we had gone to Hawaii and Palm Springs, and we went to Toronto probably like 4 or 5 times. We just would always travel all the time because of how stressed out I felt at home. Of course, I didn't realize it at the time, but that's now looking back, and I think that was the main reason why we traveled so much. So this happened in 2015 during my mat leave from work. About a year after I went back to work, I was thinking, wow, like our home still looked the same as when we first finished our tiding festival. And that was amazing to me, because that's when I knew that the book was right. If you really commit yourself to the process, you only have to do it once. And I thought that what an incredible thing that is. And I became that person that told everybody at work about this book. Whenever I talked to my friends, I would tell them, you have to read this book. If I was even just at a bookstore and I see a stranger glancing over at any kind of like organizing book or Marie's book, I would tell them about this book and how it changed my life and that they had to get it. I was just really excited about this process. So one day I was at the website, on Marie's website, komari.com, and I saw registration was open to become a Komari consultant. And I thought, I don't know, I just thought it was really exciting. The idea that I would get to meet Marie Kondo was so exciting. I didn't really even think about whether or not I want to become a Komari consultant, part-time or full-time. It was, I just wanted to go because I felt like she's completely changed my life. I'm so grateful to her, and I just had to meet her in person. And so I pretty much bought a ticket, like I registered for her course, booked my flight, booked my hotel right away. That same day, I booked everything. It was around this time that I also realized that my job wasn't sparking joy anymore, because it was becoming more and more of a toxic workspace. And when you start evaluating with joy, it kind of takes the fear out of the equation. So before I even went for this Komari consultant training, I knew I had to leave my job, because I knew in my heart that it was too toxic for me, and I knew in my heart that I could be doing any other job in the world and I would be happier. So as someone that always seeks stability in my life, I did the unthinkable and I left my job. At the time, I was actually trying to start another business with my husband. We were trying to create some eco-friendly products, and but that's another story for another time. So I went for the Komari Consultant Certification course back in December 2016, and it was, what an incredible weekend that was. It was just so full of joy, and I really, really enjoyed all the people that I met and enjoyed the course. I just loved everything about it. It was in San Francisco. It's in one of my favorite cities. And when I came back from the course, I decided to start my own business as a Komari consultant. And so I started my business in January 2017. I started working with practice clients right away. And the whole certification process took me about 6 months. I got certified by May 2017, and I was the 19th certified Komari consultant in the world. Then in 2018, I also had the opportunity to serve as a lecturer for one of the KonMari Consultant certification courses, and that was a huge honor. It's been such an incredible journey. I really am grateful for everything that this book and everything has brought to me. I'm so grateful to be part of people's tiding journeys. I think it's such a beautiful and joyful thing for people to want to find more joy in life, and for me to be part of that is honestly such an honor. And I also just can't help but think how that one decision to download that one book started this domino effect and completely changed my life. Like, how is that even possible that just by deciding to read one book that many years ago led to so many changes? Marie said in the book, tiding is just a tool, not the final destination. And the true goal should be to establish the lifestyle you want once your house has been put into order. I couldn't agree with it more, because an organized space, honestly, is pretty easy to achieve. You can just hire somebody to do it. They could even do it for you while you're at work, but it's not going to be maintained if you haven't changed yourself. Because if you haven't changed, your space will just revert back to the original form, because that's how you live. And what this method has really taught me and continuously teach me is to keep looking inward and find my true self. And so that's really what I want to share in my channel. I want to share not only my tips on how to declutter and how to organize, but also what I learned along the way on how to take care of all the things that sparks joy for you, because that's a huge part of the equation too. When you only have the things that you love, you do want to learn how to take better care of them so that they can last longer. And most importantly, what this method taught me is how to live with joy. And that's the main thing I really want to share on my channel, is just how to live more mindfully, how to live more intentionally, and just how to inject joy in your everyday. Thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you will subscribe to my channel, as I have so much fun content planned. I'm hoping to upload a new video every week. And if you have any topics you'd like me to cover or you want me to make a video on, please just comment below. I would also love to get to know you better and learn where you're at in your KonMari tiding journey. You can follow me on Instagram. I am Spark Joy with Helen. Until next time, choose joy, live well.